as much as I might like to do Don Quixote and have some Japanese fast food, I think it's more appropriate to eat something local. And so here I am, and we're going to try this. So I ordered a beef Bintang and a Maui Bandung cooler, and I have no idea what I'm up against here, but there you are. Well, that's mildly embarrassing. The guy came up to me and handed me everything, saying, excuse me, sir? But the thing is, I've been looking over my shoulder from time to time and seeing now pickup 984, and my number is 986, and I was just waiting for my number to come up, and it never did. So I just kind of settled down in view of it, although technically not, because my back's to it, which dumb call on my part, I suppose. But here I am, and I've got this roti, which I'm going to guess is basically a Southeast Asian take on a burrito. But we'll see how this goes. Yeah, this definitely looks like a burrito. Now, this is supposed to have beef and potatoes and curry and cabbage, so not your typical Mexican burrito, but still should be interesting. And this was one of their more popular cooler flavors, whose name slips my memory, and even if I could remember it, I'm not sure I could pronounce it correctly anyway. So I'm guessing maybe it'll be dragon fruit, but who knows. If that's the case, then I won't even recognize what it tastes like. That probably took more doing than it should have, but there we go. And I'm realizing I don't have a napkin. This is going to be a mess to eat. I have to admit, I thought this was going to cost me about 25 ringgit based on the prices on the menu, but apparently it's a combo meal, so I only had to pay 17 ringgit, and that's less than $4. So let's see what this is like. Honestly, it still looks like a burrito. And, well, it's definitely not Japanese curry. Oh, it's interesting. It got some seed kind of flavor to it, too. Or mouthfeel more. Biting down on something. But it gives it a little spice such that it really tastes like a burrito, too. Yeah, I think there's some corn in there. And, of course, the cabbage. And maybe that's garlic, I think. So, oh, and cucumbers. Honey, you'd hate this one, or at least you'd find that it argued with you later on. Honestly, hon, I still don't eat sushi with cucumbers in it because I keep thinking that you wouldn't like it, and when I have it, it just tastes strange. You're like, what's that doing there? But oh well. Interesting. I think the cucumber's there in order to take the edge off of it. It has a cooling effect on the curry sauce and the other spices in here. It works surprisingly well. Considering how I never think of cucumber being served hot. Mostly because I don't think of cucumber being served as part of a dish rather than just by itself or wrapped up in a sushi roll. But this works, I guess. And my goodness, and they offered to give me spicier curry. This is sufficient for me. It really tasted too. And here I thought that this was just going to be a snack and I'd have to get something from maybe Taco James over there. Yeah, instead of Taco John's. James? Wouldn't it be Diego at that point? Then again, that would be Taco Juan, so yeah, never mind. I've never heard of the place, and still mildly tempted. I've certainly got time, so. Yeah, that's really good, honestly. Actually, it's a bit of a shame because you know I'll never be able to have anything like this again. No, admittedly, I would prefer it be wrapped in, it'd be using Japanese curry. But it works pretty well. Now let's try this drink. Okay. It needs to be mixed around a little bit. It seems like we've got all the ice and all the cold near the top. Is cucumbers or is this lime? These are tiny little limes. That's interesting. And it's almost like syrup at the bottom. There's almost too much. But it's also, less cold at the bottom too. Maybe I should drink it from the top. Yeah, up at the top it tastes almost like a flat carbonated beverage. So yeah, the syrup needs to be mixed in a bit better. Although, again, because of that hue change from light to dark red, maybe it's just meant to look like that, even though it doesn't taste right otherwise. It's a shame. That is good. This is refreshing, especially considering that I've discovered I really like sparkling water, but it's nothing remarkable, nothing to write home about. This is really not bad, and again, one of those things is almost a shame that it doesn't exist back home, or if it does, I wouldn't know where to look for it. So there's that. I'm gonna finish this off camera because, what else can I say? So anyway, tried something different again. So, and fast food too. So let's see if I can get this bowl going. If I'm still hungry, I might just add to this. So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, I saw this place here right across the pedestrian walkway, I guess, from Rollti and the KFC, and I thought, well, let's give this a try as well. They call this the golden taco, and in the pictures it kind of looks a little like a chalupa Taco Bell. And yeah, kind of does, doesn't it? Not quite as thick, but otherwise it's pretty much that. I think that's cheese on the outside. Hey, can't go wrong with that. These camera angles or something else. Doesn't quite work like it should. But at least we've got this here, and we can give this a try and see what it's like. Oh, that's interesting. A little sweet. Oh boy. How do you eat this stuff without looking like a complete mess? Huh. Well, okay. Let's start off with, gotta love the crunch on this thing. And I think it does have a sort of cheesy flavor to it. And this is really good stuff. But the special sauce, while I appreciate it not being terribly spicy, is also strangely sweet. I'm sure that works for some people. Not my favorite. But all things considered, I guess it's a matter of personal taste. Nothing is for everybody after all. But, you know, like, I've got to try it, find out whether I like it or not. And if I don't, well, you know, at least I've tried it. It's a little something different. And interesting that it's ground chicken. I did not see that coming. I would expect some chunks of it or something like that, but whatever. And that's about it. So this thing makes me look really silly when I'm trying to eat this on camera, and I don't have anything more to add to this, but I'll just go on with this, and if I have any more comments, I'll flip the camera back on. Oh, you know what? It just dawned on me what this sweet sauce is. It's honey mustard. I'm not a big fan of honey mustard. The more bites I taste of it, the more I'm realizing, of course it is. And everybody does this with their chicken. I'm like, why honey mustard? Why not just regular old mustard? Well, again, it seems to be the style at the time. So there you go. That answers that question. But for now, thanks for eating with me, and talk to you later. The irony is, at the moment now, I almost have as much time to have dessert, if I want to, as I did to have lunch yesterday in Singapore. Oh my gosh, I found an entire other wing of the food court that I never saw when I was down here earlier. Oh my goodness, this looks like you did at Taipei 101, except not nearly as crowded, thankfully. Still, there's also this whole, what do I choose, or do I even bother? There's a lot going on here. So rather than get something too familiar, I decided to try something like this. Baked tarts. And oddly enough, that sounds like borrowing slang from two different generations. So I've got to find out what this tastes like before I head upstairs and call it a day. Well, maybe I'll just take it with me upstairs and eat it there. It's not like there's a place to sit down there. Or maybe I'll just eat this on the bus if I can sneak it aboard. Well, there's plenty of space in the bag for me to hide this in, so I'm going to give this a try. This is supposedly a choco malt. And I guess it's going to be a cheesecake kind of thing. The crust is sweet, just a little bit of chocolate. It's the usual Japanese thing where it's subtle rather than, you know, screaming its flavor at you. Just enough mouthfeel to really be tasty. And the inside is just soft, almost creamy. It's got a give to it. It's not stiff like the cheesecakes I'm familiar with. You could practically take a knife and just spread this out over toast if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it. Just eat it as it is, and it's fine. The malt must come from the little malt bowls here on the top. Let me grab one out of it. Oh yeah. And oh wow, it's really creamy here in the bottom. Once you get towards the middle, that is really tasty. I don't taste any cheesecakiness to it, but maybe that's all the chocolate dominating it, so I guess I'm fine with that. And really glad to get a chance to taste 3 different things today. That was kind of cool. And didn't even realize I'd kind of have that time. So anyway, now we're headed back, and tomorrow we're in Penang, and I gotta try and use up all this ringgit. So keep an eye on me and wish me luck.